Hey everyone, I figured I would sit down and record a little bit today. I haven't recorded in a couple of days. We are still trying to figure out how to integrate recording into our daily schedule, so it's challenging, but that's just the season of life that we're in, so we're figuring it out. I want to say thank you to Alone in remote Alaska. She had sent over some kind souls to my page, and I'm grateful for that. Thank you very much. Thank you to everybody who is new here and is watching our story. I've done it a little backwards. I had not introduced ourselves in the beginning of the channel because I did not expect any strangers to watch my channel. So originally I had intended creating videos for our family so they could still be with us. It's challenging for them that they're not here spending time with our kids or with Mike and I don't think I've ever mentioned this other maybe gentle writing, but we are from Pennsylvania. We chose to move to Alaska just personal reasons. My husband and I have felt deeply called to living remotely, more intentionally, and Alaska was important to us because it offered something that the lower 48 didn't offer. We bought property in the Valdez-Cordova borough, which to us, this was a significant place in Alaska. One, because there are no property taxes, there are no zoning laws, no building code. We also live in a sustenance hunting area, and that as well was important to our family. My husband is big into foraging his own. I am big into knowing the quality of meat and food that my family are eating. I have spent a lot of money buying organic from the store. So not that we couldn't do this in Pennsylvania. Living in a sustenance zone was huge to us because we can go out and we can harvest what we need for our family. There are a lot of trophy hunters that come to Alaska to get that big moose or to get that big bear, but we are here. Would that be cool to get a huge moose, to get a big bear? Of course, but it's important to us that we learn how to use the entire animal properly for our home. So in the summer when it's salmon fishing, for example, the blessing and the integrity of going to be able to catch the amount of salmon that we need for the next 6 to 12 months is huge. I mean, the food that we're catching is coming from the environment that we live in. We are not having to go and source from somebody else. We can go do that ourselves. So that was huge for us, why we chose this area as well. And teaching our children to live this way is huge on our heart. A lot of you have recognized that we not only want to teach our children survival skills, and I don't mean survival as in we are scrounging for food, we are scrounging for warmth, for shelter. I mean survival as in when shit hits the fan, they can take care of themselves. There is an underlying fear that the world has, and a lot of people try to run away from modern society, that one day there's going to be a war or something. We don't have that vision behind it. Our vision behind it is how can you intentionally live and provide for yourself, not having to rely on somebody else, because with the pandemic, it was a huge eye-opener to my husband and I that we depend so much, so much on consumerism. Not necessarily even materialism that we purchase, but our food. We depend on the grocery store. We depend on the middleman. We depend on the provider. And again, like I said, buying organic was big for my family, and it's something big on my heart. I don't want my children eating processed mac and cheese for their meals. I think it's incredibly important to teach your children what they are nourishing their body with, what they need to provide their body with, how can they care for their body, how can they care for their surroundings. So I won't tangent too long, but that is why we chose this area to live, and I'm excited to see what that brings for us. I have a lot to learn. My husband has a lot to learn. Our children have a lot to learn. Heck, I only know how to use a gun for protection. I have never killed an animal in my life, and some of you watching this that maybe live this type of lifestyle, you're welcome to judge. That's okay. I'm not offended. I'm just being honest. I want to go out and kill a moose because instead of going to the grocery store and buying organic meat for my children, myself, and my husband, I think it's just amazing the amount of freedom that comes with it as well. Going out and putting the time into harvesting your own. It's just really fulfilling for me. So as much as I am a nurturer in our family, I also want to be a provider and a gatherer, because I want to teach my daughter that she doesn't have to depend on a man to go out and do this stuff for her. And I want to teach my son that he doesn't necessarily have to depend on a woman to care for him. He can do it himself. So for those of you that live this lifestyle, yes, I am 1000% new to this. I've done a small garden. I've canned a little bit. I don't really know much, but I'm here to learn, and there is only one way to learn. So those of you that are genuinely kind and courteous and caring, and you're cheering us on, that it just swells my heart way deeper than I could ever say. I know I'm a stranger sitting here on the back of a camera, but those of you that resonate with us, I'm very grateful that you are here, and sharing with you is something that I never thought I would do in my life. I never thought I would make videos on YouTube, but it's been really cool to connect with a lot of people that have lived in Alaska or have visited Alaska or who want to live here. We spent a lot of time in our early marriage years. So Mike and I have been married for 7 years. We got married when I was 20, and then we shortly had Jackson after. And then we shortly had Freya after. They're 17 months apart. Early in our marriage, we did not respect any of these freedoms that we have here in Alaska. It was very much so modern, keeping up with the Joneses, trying to have this and look this way and have this and do that and go here and buy this and have really nice vehicles. And after the pandemic hit, something changed in both of us. There was a huge shift in our heart of, you know what, all of this that we have worked hard for, it can easily be taken from us. So what can we go work hard for that cannot be taken from us? And at the end of the day, yes, this work is harder than anything either of us have ever done in life, but it is way more fulfilling. The payoff at the end of the day is way bigger than any dollar in our bank account can ever provide. So last year for Christmas, my husband and I decided that we did not want to do gifts or anything for our children. We just wanted to do something that would be more intentional. And this is what kicked off. And I had a full circle moment the other day, thinking back like, wow, we made it. In November, we decided that we were going to do the 5 gift rule for Christmas, which most of you know. Something you need, something you wear, something you want, something you read, and then we do a special gift, something that the kids don't know. And we decided to book an off-grid cabin in the Adirondacks in New York. It was 270 square feet. There was only electricity, no running water, and we had a wood stove. And we went for Christmas. We went for 5 days. It was magical. And so on this trip, my husband and I were driving home, and something in our heart was like, God, you know, whatever your religious beliefs are, I'm not going to get into that. But we both were like, wow, you know, I think this is something that I really would want to do in life. And my husband, we've always loved Montana. We spent 2 weeks in 2021 in Montana thinking that this would potentially be our future home. And it just didn't resonate with us completely. So we came to the conclusion, driving home from Christmas, that I think we need to go to Alaska. I had never been to Alaska before. My husband was here when he was 15, and maybe even younger. So long story short, driving home, we booked tickets. We just said, all right, we trust whatever was deeply telling us to come here. We booked tickets for April That was going to be our anniversary present. My daughter's birthday was right around there. My birthday was a few weeks prior, so we said, okay, we're going to Alaska. Now, we hadn't shared with anybody in our family, no, not even our friends. It was something very, very protected in our heart that we weren't ready to share yet. So we just told everybody that we were going to Alaska just on a family vacation. So we came here and we actually stayed near Palmer, which is a very beautiful town if you've never been. We stayed near Palmer, and my husband has always been drawn to the area that we live in near the Wrangles. Me, I'm like, if you've ever been to Chitina, and this is no disrespect, it is a beautiful town. The surrounding is amazing, but it is a dead town. There's nothing there. If you've ever been to Chitina, you would be like, oh, heck no. So when we came to this side of the state, I really didn't want to live here. I preferred to live up north a little bit. There was a beautiful home for sale in Trapper Creek that I really wanted to buy, which is 3 hours south of Denali. We pretty much covered the whole southeast part of Alaska, a little north. We didn't make it to Fairbanks, but we were pretty dang close. And we still weren't sure. We came home for the next couple months. We decided that we would just focus on, we wanted to list our house, which was another hurdle that we had never spoken to our family about. So we came home in May. We had a huge garage sale. We sold probably about, I don't know, I'd say a quarter of our belongings in this garage sale. We did really well off. Now, in the process of that, we also sold my husband's diesel truck. My husband's truck, he drove an F-350, and diesel prices were just through the roof. I had a brand new Volkswagen SUV. We sold that as well, and we downgraded. We bought a 2012 Toyota Tacoma, it was really interesting because, like I said, we were very big in the material world. My husband worked in the oil field. We had really good income. And so now he left the oil field. We have sold our business. We have sold our vehicles, and now we're starting to sell our stuff. And then the big thing that we knew we had to do was list our house. And our families maybe weren't going to take this very well. So it took us a lot of time and prayer and strength and courage. We ended up telling our family that we were going to sell our house. We're going to list it on the market. Now, in the back of our mind, we knew that we were going to move to Alaska. We just decided, being here, that this is where our family is meant to be. There is a lot of growth for us to have here, and neither of us have ever done anything like this in our life. So it was solidified that Alaska was where we were meant to be. We tell our family that we're listing our house, and they're like, well, we know, what are you doing? Where are you going? And we tell them Alaska, and they still were just like, what are you doing? Where are you going? It took a couple weeks, couple months. Some family, I love you so much. They maybe still don't agree with it, but you have to follow your heart at the end of the day. You cannot, one thing I've learned is you cannot live and do as other people expect you to do. You must live and do as you expect you to do. We donated the other, I would say, 60% of our house. We bought a 7x12 trailer. We packed up the necessities, put it all in the trailer, and my husband was going to drive to Alaska. So we sold our house. My husband left. Our closing was on September 26th. Both of us do not have the thingy in our arm, so the border was not open. We went through a whole bunch of things. He had to have certain tests done. We had to have this paperwork, that paperwork. Now, this entire time, this whole year of 2022, we've been divinely guided. And leading up to the closing and all the things, we felt really prepared. Like, we just trusted that this was meant to be throughout this whole process, even if it was scary. I'm telling you, it was not easy. I don't want to come across as this whole thing was easy. I'm just trying not to talk for 2 hours today. We've just trusted that everything is meant to be. So The closing of our house in Pennsylvania was on September 26th, and my husband was going to be leaving September 27th. The night of the 26th, we went to my in-laws' house so Mike could say goodbye to his parents, and we found out that Canada opened their border. You do not have to have the thingy in your arm. You do not have to show proof of anything. It was the most divine miracle that we could ever have asked for throughout this whole process. That was the last hurdle that we had to cross. We had crossed so many hurdles for the last 9 months leading up to this huge life-altering change, and the border opens. So it was just a really divine miracle. Mike drove 4,446 miles, I think it was, from Pennsylvania. It took him 7 days to get here to our home in Alaska, and then I flew up to Alaska 2 weeks after he came up here. He met us down in Anchorage, and driving up here, we got caught in a snowstorm. It was just really wild, but we're here. We're very grateful. We both are open to answering questions that you may have. I know that I have not explained a lot of what we did in our process, but I tried to just give you the small side of the story. There is a lot going into change, and if you are going through a huge life-altering change, whether it be having a baby, heck, I know that when you find out you're pregnant with your first child, it's scary. That's probably one of the scariest things I've been through. So whether you're having a baby, or you're feeling called to get married, or it could be so silly, like you're going off to college, any life change should not be dimmed. There is light inside of it. I thought of something the other day that was kind of silly, but it has been in the back of my head. Grace has altitude. So as you're climbing the mountain, there are different levels that you're going to have to go through. There are different altitudes that you're going to have to cross. And by the time you get to the top of the mountain, you're going to have had grace with yourself through the altitudes of change. Because to get from A to B, there is also A, B, A, C. You have to get through these little hurdles to get to the end result. And sometimes getting to the end result, it doesn't even look like what you thought it would be. But I truly wholeheartedly believe that for each and every one of you watching, for each and every one of you that maybe will watch or don't watch, anybody that I know, there is a purpose for all of us in life. And if you are sad or not enjoying where you're at in life, whether it be at your job, in a relationship, in your house, your environment, change it. And that change is not going to be easy. You're going to ask yourself, what the am I doing? Through packing and moving and selling my vehicle that I had worked so dang hard for, my husband and I would look at each other and be like, what are we doing? Seriously, what are we doing? But you just do it. You just have to trust. Whether it be you want to change your dang hair color. I don't know, so silly, but you just have to trust. Just try it. Just try it. I don't think it's appropriate to say on here. My husband and I, we try not to curse too much, but we all have a dark side, right? We always say F-U-C-K around and find out, because if you don't, thank you, Jordan Peterson, for that. If you don't, you will literally never find out. The main thing that we say for our family motto is protect the innocents, dangerous things carefully. So if my child needs to learn how to use the axe to cut firewood, then I have to make sure that he has the proper understanding. My husband makes sure that he has the proper understanding of, this is how you do it. Watch me. Understanding the tool that you're using. Dangerous things carefully. So, well, with that being said, I love all of you, each and every one of you that has even only watched a minute of this video, or any of my videos, 30 seconds even. I love you, and I send all of you my love, and I am so grateful I know that the holidays are coming up, so if there are those of you that don't love to celebrate the holidays or you struggle during the holidays, I send you even more love, and I am so grateful again for each and every one of you. Thank you.